if you are watching this video, there are 3 things that I want to allow you to put on these lenses to see this information from. Because yes, I love to have fun. I love to be seductive. I love all things beautiful and sexy, and I live and breathe in that world. However, what I'm going to be teaching today, yes, you can use for seduction. You can use it yourself to try it on. You can also use this information to watch others to see if they are into you. You can also use this information completely outside of the seduction realm, which I highly recommend, just in terms of being able to connect with people more by reading their body language to see, are you guys connecting? Are they into what you're saying? Maybe you need to change the conversation. This is not manipulation, because a lot of people think like, oh, I'm not a manipulative person. Okay, first of all, everybody fucking manipulates everyone. If you've ever put on makeup, if you've ever thought like, do I want to wear a red shirt or a green shirt today? That's some form of manipulation, because you are manipulating people's perception of you. So it's not a bad word. We don't have to think of manipulation as this bad thing. We just have to know and understand that we are an interdependent species, meaning we need other people to survive. And so a lot of our joy and fulfillment relies on social skills, and that's part of what we're kind of doing today. All right, so let's get into the juicy stuff, the seductive body language. If somebody is feeling really safe with you, they will expose the physically vulnerable parts of their body, meaning the wrists, where the arteries are, the neck. Basically, those 2 areas are the most that you're gonna see in conversation. So in that video, I did this and I touched my neck, right? But that's different from this. Do you see the difference? This is a closed body language where I'm closing in on myself and my elbow is coming in and I'm actually blocking my neck and I'm blocking my heart. I'm also blocking a very seductive, boobies, part of my body with my arm. You'll also see this in women if they're not feeling it. They'll go like this. They'll go like this, right? My mentor calls this genital blocking. It's you literally blocking your genitals. In men, often they'll clasp their hands, and you can't see my genitals. They'll put it in front of their genitals in some way. This is a closure. Now, if somebody does the opposite, if they open, if they expose the vulnerable parts of their body, and I'm doing it in 2 ways here, right? I'm also doing the head tilt, which is very seductive, and I'll explain that in a moment, so stick with me. But if I'm touching my neck in a way like this, while I'm exposing my wrist, it will subconsciously communicate to the person that I am speaking to, either that I want to be seductive with them or that I just feel really safe with them. I feel open with them. Now, the other thing that I did in that video is I kind of moved the hair back from my neck, and you'll see this a lot in women. So part of the arousal process and the seduction process is exciting. It's close to not necessarily fear, but it's an arousal, right? So it's not a total relaxation. It's like a relaxation and opening combined with arousal. And that arousal actually heats up your body. And so you'll see this subconscious behavior where women will actually move the hair behind their neck. Now, this also could be a stress sign. So there's not one body language that fits all things. You kind of have to use common sense and piece it together. But this could be a stress thing. If it's a stress thing, you'll often see it in combination with them piercing their lips together. They'll maybe lean back in their chair. Maybe they'll close down. If it's an opening, you know what I mean? Now it looks seductive. I'm not trying to be seductive. I'm literally just doing the body language. So I've talked about this on previous videos, but asymmetry is fucking hot. And the reason asymmetry is hot is because it denotes playfulness, and playfulness is attractive. We want to have fun. I love having fun. I hope you love having fun too. So if you think of those like old time villains and crooks, like the witch from, what is it? Snow White, I think it is, how she's like hunchback and she's walking like this. She's evil. She's bad. Now, just the right of asymmetry, the tilt of your head. Not only does the tilt of my head show subconsciously that I'm interested in you and that I'm listening, it also is just the right amount of asymmetry, doing all the things now, of asymmetry to show that I'm bad but not so bad. AKA, I'm in the realm of kinky, and the right kind of kinky. Not the evil bad, crooked bad, just a little bit of crookedness, because we like that as human beings. Think of the movies that you watch. I don't like watching movies, that's a whole other topic. But think of the movies that you watch. They're probably violent. There's probably some heart-aching, wrenching story in it, because we as human beings like to experience the full array of human emotions. It turns us on, not just in a sexual way, but like in a spiritual way, in a human way. And so that little bit of crookedness, there we go. A little bit of crookedness is very attractive. Okay, now the next thing I did in that video on TikTok was I did a little thing with my lips. And this is very different than lip compression, which I've talked about in a previous video. Lip compression is withholding opinions. You'll see it all the time, and you're gonna notice yourself doing it all the time. It's an amazing self-awareness tool, so please use that. Now, on the flip side, there's a little something when you relax your lips, when you lick a little part of your lip, and it's probably not gonna be that obvious. It's hard to do it in a subtle way without doing it naturally, or you bite a little bit of your lip, or there's a lean in and there's an opening of the lips. And maybe that person looks down at your lips for a split second. They wanna make out with you, most likely. Again, it's not 100% science here. But okay, you have a question about eye contact. Is it true when people look left, they're lying? No, that is not true. And let me get to that in a moment, because that's a really good question. But when they do that with their lips, they're interested in your lips. They want to create that physical connection with you. Here's an interesting one. If you ever see people on a date, or if you yourself are on a date, you will find that the closer, I got my drink here, the closer in connection that you get, the drinks will get closer and closer and closer to each other. It's almost like an extension of you. You'll see it in drinks. You'll also see it in phones. You'll see it in whatever the fuck else is on the table. Someone will pick it up and actually move it closer to you if they're into you, and the opposite, they'll move it away. Now, this is a little bit different than another thing called object blocking, which is where maybe my drink is here, and instead of me moving it closer, I now move it in front of me. That's an object blocking. So this means that I'm now feeling disconnected from you. It's also can be a way of someone when they lie. So and there's no, so going back to your question, Jessica, there's no sign for lying. It's not like they look left and they lie. It's all a bunch of fucking bullshit. However, if you look for a cluster of stress signs, it can indicate that they're lying, and object blocking is one of those stress signs. It doesn't mean that they're lying. If you see somebody, you can probably see my eyes as I'm doing this, yeah. There's usually a place where people look most often. When somebody lies, they look in a different place. That can be a stress sign. It can also be that their blink rate increases. That's a stress sign. There's lots of different stress signs to look for. There's also something with lying where it's a little bit different from object blocking, but they'll actually move their body away from you. And that's because for a human being to lie, it creates physiological pain for us, unless you're a total psychopath, literally. But for a majority of the people on this planet, it's actually a painful experience to lie. And so they have to create distance. Okay, so that's the segue from lying. I'm gonna go back into seduction now. Now, another part of seduction is there's this thing called ventral orientation. So this is the midline of your body. When someone's midline of their body gets closer to yours, that's a sign that they are feeling that connection, whether that be in friendship or seduction or sales or therapy. It literally doesn't matter, but today we're talking about seduction. So if somebody takes the midline of their body and they get closer and they tilt their head, they probably want you. However, if they take the midline of their body and they move it back and they do this, do you get the idea? I think I've talked about this before on a video. There's basically two types of body language. There's constriction and there's expansion. These look like constriction, and this looks like expansion. So in seductive body language, you're looking for, or you want to emanate, if you want to play with it with your partner because it's a super fun, you want to do expansive body language. And probably if you're really feeling aroused, there's gonna be a little bit of stress in there too, but just the right kind of stress. And you can also play with that asymmetry. For men, it's extremely attractive when you take up more space with your body. It's extremely masculine. You can't really see me, but you can see that I'm emanating confidence because my body is actually inhabiting more space. My arms are out. I'm exposing my wrist because I feel motherfucking confident. I might move a little bit slower because I get to take my time. So this type of body language is very attractive in a male, and it also emanates confidence for both sexes. Okay, so let me look at these questions. When we face someone, does that mean something? I'd actually pay attention to their feet. So if you find someone's feet are pointing towards you, but you're like, oh, I want to veer off to this side, you're not feeling it as much as they are. So look at feet orientation. I think that answers your question. That's like the tip of the iceberg. If you want more information on this, I actually have a detailed outline of this for men in my program called Women Revealed. My phone's always about to die. So yeah, if you want to buy that, the link is in my bio. I also have a free download for men on how to get the girl, basically how to be confident and how to be authentically confident, right? Not just the body language stuff, but in Women Revealed, I basically teach you how to read a woman to a T. Good information, and then what to do thereafter once you've read her, once you've made that connection in terms of flirting, in terms of foreplay, in terms of sex, and all of the fun things. So definitely go and get that. I have 2 more spots for a large container of one-on-one work with me. The type of work I do, yes, is in body language because I will be able to read all the things that are subconsciously not in congruency with where your words are at, which is what we call shadow work. And then I use hypnotherapy and neurolinguistic programming to basically trace that back and rewire the subconscious programming that's fucked up and get it back to authenticity and get it back to where you want it to be so that you can experience more of what you want in your life. And I do have an upcoming program for men. And if you're a woman and you want to experience more confidence, I have 7 days to magnetic confidence. It's super powerful. It's super, super, super fun. It's super flirty. It's just for women. And there's a powerful hypnosis in it that you listen to for 7 days. It will rewire your entire nervous system. And then I give you all of the training day by day, plus a very fun bonus training to basically activate that confidence so that it doesn't matter where you go or who you're with, you become a magnet for the things you want most, because that's one of the powerful things about a woman is we just attract if you know how to turn it on. So if you want to know how to turn it on, definitely go and buy that. The link is in my bio. Okay, it's a lot of really fun, seductive body language information. I love you. I will talk to you soon. Let me know if you guys have any more questions. Just put it in the comments.